I'm talking to new players, either new to D&D or just new to my campaign, I like to start with an alignment, okay? Before any other groundwork gets done, I like to start with an alignment. And typically what I'll do is I'll show them a selection of different deities, okay? So that they can have just some aspect of their character that's personal, all right? It comes down to motivation, okay? Um, if you're a wizard that just casts fireballs all the time, that's not a motivation, all right? Maybe being a pyromaniac or a pyrotechnic or some sort of pyro thing, yeah, that's a motivation, okay? I'm a pyromaniac. I have to light things on fire every once in a while. I tone that down by lighting incense, okay? That's how I handle that, all right? But in real life, that's a motivation. That's a real thing, okay? So it's a great place to start, but dogmatically following an alignment is folly. There's no reason to do it because that's not how things work in real life at all, okay? And I get that D&D is an escapism thing, but unless you're a robot, I mean, every decision's different. Very few people can be described as anywhere on here, all right? There's almost no place for any actual person on here. It doesn't exist, okay? So it's a great place to start, and it's a great kind of guideline. What do they say on Pirates of the Caribbean? Not really rules, more like guidelines. So just use it as a guideline, a general moral standpoint, okay? Because at the end of the day, this doesn't work because this is not, I mean, this is objective. The alignments are objective, and nobody's objective, okay? The worst dictators and terrorists in the world thought that they were doing the right thing. That no one is ever like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna be a dick, okay? You know, even when people are a dick, they have a motivation behind it, okay? So let's break this down. Let's break this down by what's going on here. By far and large, okay? And remember, whatever you are on here, you have to be a good party member. It doesn't matter if you're a stinky thief. It doesn't matter if you just want to kill people. Your character has to have a motivation to be with the party. If your character doesn't have a motivation to be with the party, it fractures the party, and it makes it so many people don't get any playtime, okay? Everyone needs to be able to play. Everyone needs to be able to play, okay? I went with my neighbors last night, and this is kind of a reaction video to that, to this group I got kicked out of like a year or so ago. And my neighbor was just bored out of her skull because we were there for like we were there for 3 hours. There was a socializing cringe that happened for 30 minutes. So we had 2 hours and 30 minutes of playtime, and my neighbor had, among that, 45 to 30 minutes where she could actually do anything. Why? Because we spent that entire time trying to get the party together. So wherever you are on here, whatever your motivation is, you can even be a pyromaniac. You have to have some sort of motivation to be with the party, all right? And this is huge. This is huge. This doesn't mean you're just stapled to the party, okay? And if it's something tangible, like, well, my forge is on his wagon and I can't, look, whatever, man. Just figure out something more productive than being like just being a begrudging party member, because it's not fun, okay? So let's start off. First of all, most players, most characters, whatever, chaotic good, okay? Chaotic good. This one's a lot of fun. This one's so much fun because at the end of the day, the ends justify the means, okay? You're working towards something, and you might be working towards something crazy, okay? And you're going to do some crazy stuff to make it happen. It's Dungeons and Dragons, okay? This is where most people fall, regardless of where they say they're chaotic good, because they're doing it for the good of the party, all right? And once again, you know, this is absolutely subjective. Good and evil are subjective, but in D&D, it's a great place to start, okay? You know, the exact opposite of this, well, actually, you know, on the other side, I kind of like lawful evil in a way, very similar, very similar. It's there's a balance here. There's a balance between these two things on the other side of the of the aisle or whatever. Okay, lawful evil. You're evil, but you're gonna be able to stop yourself from going full. You know what? All right, you're gonna be able to stop yourself because you're constrained, and it's a very interesting dichotomy. Very interesting dichotomy, okay? Because it shows that you have a code. It shows that you have honor in some form or another. All right. Next we've got chaotic evil. Kind of hard. Kind of hard to play this and be in the party. I think most. I mean, this is like I don't know. Kind of hard to just be mean and crazy while keeping the party together. This itself will be a juggling act between how much destruction you cause and how tenable things will still be for your party. So still a lot of potential here with chaotic evil. Okay, because I mean, if you end up destroying the world, then there's no more game. So this is kind of right here. This is kind of the dichotomy here is controlling your character with your player, if that makes sense. You've got to be able to balance it because remember, you're still a party member. My least favorite out of the outer rim would be lawful good. Lawful good is basically respect my authority. Respect my authority. That disgusting little ball of lard that was he was basically just LARPing as a woman, which yes, this is live action role play, but hearing him do an impression of the female sex, I won't even do an impression of his impression. I'm probably I had to like rethink my entire sexuality at that point, because it wasn't good. Lawful good, these guys are pricks. They're absolutely pricks. I guess you see paladins like this, and they're kind of balanced because the paladin at the end of the day is a healer, and they have that kind of creed, just like medics and stuff do in real life. I forget what it's called. It's like an ethos of sorts where they're gonna help you out. They're gonna heal you regardless of if you're chaotic evil or not, because they understand where they fit in the party. Okay, so these are four great choices. These are some fantastic choices. Most players are chaotic good. Lawful evil, there's a balancing act. There's a dichotomy there. It can really give you some options to go either way, but it kind of it's non-typical. Chaotic evil, very hard to rein in. Lawful good, assholes. I would really encourage you to like just stick to one of those four, or at least start off with one of those four, because now you have the edgelord zone, the neutrals. So there's neutral evil, and this is basically every Disney bad guy. Like I'm evil, and they're gonna be evil for evil's sake. Not a lot of balance there. It's a trope. It's absolutely a trope, and really bad writing when you're just evil. You're just gonna do evil things. Okay, lawful neutral. I can see it. I can actually maybe you know what? No, this is out of the no zone. This is out of the no zone. I like this one. The first thing I ever saw that was lawful neutral was in this D&D book. It was like some sort of clockmen, some sort of automatrons that basically their entire job was to, I think they were like time cops. They just ensured the space-time continuum stayed going. So there's a lot of possibility here. I mean, it's like I don't know. I want to almost say that okay, maybe not Judge Dredd. He might be like chaotic lawful. Yeah, well, no. I don't know. That was a weird thing to say because there's no such thing as chaotic. But maybe Judge Dredd. I don't know. He has a lot of guns. Not always the best at placing which pop culture characters fit in here, but at least his understanding of the law is completely lawful neutral. He doesn't. He's not mean about it, if that makes sense. I don't know. He's a killer, but he's not mean about it. He's just ensuring the law is followed and dispensing justice. Not that I'd ever want to be judged by him. There's chaotic neutral, and I mean, I don't see a whole lot of difference between chaotic neutral and chaotic evil. I don't know. Maybe there's more nuance here than what I'm getting at. So yeah, you know what? These 5 are actually pretty good. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These guys are pretty good. Disney villain right here. Neutral good. You know, I've met, you know, I guess I've met some neutral good people. I'm changing my opinion as I'm talking about it. Maybe this is brainstorming. I feel a lot, but I don't think a lot. So getting these thoughts out are great for me. I've actually met some neutral good guys. You're gonna come across them here and there, and it's kind of like just this person you can just talk to, and just people just go up to them and open themselves up, and they don't really do anything with it. And so that's why they're like a shoulder to lean on. So I'm slowly changing my mind. Okay, you know what? This is good. Sorry. This is good. And that's good. And this is good too. But then we've got these 3 things right here. Yeah, neutral evil is just so hard to do because you're just a Disney villain. But you know what? As I'm coming across this, I guess there's a bit of viability in almost every one of these things. Stay away from this one. Stay away from this one. Stay away from this one. Okay, this one, true neutral, is for edgelords. It's absolutely for edgelords that don't have a motivation. So they just become this double-edged sword, okay? So, I mean, it kind of just justifies, like, well, why would I care? And then they end up look, I've seen this happen in a couple different forms. Last night it happened because I was begging to be saved by this neutral character, and he's like, why would I care? Why would I care? So there's that, where they just have this selective off switch. And then this player, very, very toxic, very, very toxic. He's cheating with another cheater right now, so he has absolutely no moral scruples at all. He's I don't know. I don't like the guy at all. He has a bad attitude. He comes to every single game complaining about a headache. He's a drama queen with no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Well, you know what? Actually, I'm envious that he has a girlfriend. I can say that he has a girlfriend, so there's envy there. Look, for me, the most popular neutral character ever, the one that had such a huge impact on me, was Kreia from KOTOR. I think KOTOR 2. That's the Old Republic 2, okay? In those games, I was definitely seeking. I got a taste of it in Fable. The crowds in Fable, as a kid, I was like, oh my god, these people love me. And they gave you emotes and stuff like that. So ever since then, you know, I've always played the good guy in the video games. And they're developing this morality system that was either good or evil. There was really nothing in between, right? And so, you know, and look, in KOTOR, the better you do, or the more good things you do, the cooler it makes your portrait look. And likewise, the more evil you are, the more evil it makes you. Like the guy's posture changes, his face changes. So you know, I was just on the good guy spree. I want more good boy points. I was playing the game to beat it, but there was another system there where I just want good boy points. And so there's this beggar on Nar Shaddaa, and she's starting this commentary about morality. All right, you can You can't escape it. No matter what. Even if she's not in your party, she's gonna whisper with the Force Skype, which is fine. It's totally cool because her message was incredible. All right, she's telling you about morality, and what do? You go give a nickel to the beggar, and his friends beat him up or kill him or something and take the nickel. So doing good for the sake of doing good can hurt people. Okay, so she's a neutral character. She's a gray Jedi. All right, she leads you on the straight and narrow. There was another gray Jedi. He was pretty cool. He basically was just super based. He didn't really care about much. And so, I mean, this can be justification to really do anything at the end of the day. But the reason it's so funny, this one's so funny, is Kreia turned out to be Darth Treyas, a Sith Lord. She was just trying to red pill you to join the dark side. That was it. This whole thing was just a ruse to try to not seem like any of these down here, okay? She wanted you to focus on this instead of these. And so, I don't know, the whole thing is just how ironic. It's just so, how ironic. Because this is so hard to make happen. So there's that guy, right? And then there's another player who's equally as toxic. And they accuse each other all the time of having no motivation, of having no reason to be with the party, not sticking with the party. I have a magical artifact that I was holding. And of course, I'm playing Slipjab, who's my favorite character. He's a rat. And I didn't want to give up the magical artifact. I just absolutely did not want to give it up. And so the other guy, he was like, well, can I look at it? Can I see it? And I'm like, are you going to give it back to me? And he said, maybe. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take an insight check. And he's like, my character really does think maybe. And it's just like, that's not a character. That's not, there's nothing, there's nothing to work with there. Okay. It's just a player trying to have depth with no creativity at all. This guy, and you know what? Honestly, he could literally be neutral. I think every one of his characters might actually be neutral. We're going through the book, and he's like, well, I want to play a hex, this or that. And I was like, well, what would your motivation be? And he just started reading rules. And I was like, well, how are you going to make it fun? And he started like reading over me. And I'm sitting right next to the guy, right? I'm sitting right next to the guy. And that's just what he does. He just makes characters that basically play themselves. You know, back in 5th edition Warhammer, you know, my buddy discovered something incredible, is that like with the orcs, you don't really even play them. You just deploy them and then just let them run forward. That's it. That's the whole thing with the orcs, right? They just run forward. There's no strategy there. There's nothing really too complex at that point, other than deciding what you're going to charge if you get to charge multiple things, okay? But the army plays itself, and this player's characters play themselves, and there's nothing going on there. However, you know, I've had troubles with this player in the past. I sat on the opposite side of the table. I did not want this void of wood or whatever this shit's made out of. So I sat right next to him. There could have been a chair in between us. I didn't know how many players were going to be there, so I sat right next to him, okay? He's got his books all up in my stuff. I'm trying to be not as much of a dick or belligerent as I usually am, so I don't ask him to move his books or anything. And so his books are right up next to me, and two times while we play, he says, watch out, watch out. And he goes to remove his books, but he didn't need to tell me watch out. What he was trying to do is flex on me to get maybe more personal space. And if he said like, hey man, you're in my personal space, I would have been like, oh, I'm in your personal space. I will remove myself from your personal space. My apologies. But instead, watch out. Watch out. This player, so there's something really toxic going on. I got to this group last night, and the group was separated. Sorry, the party was separated into 4 different groups. And so that was we spent 2 hours just getting the party together. 2 hours just getting the party together. And it was just like, whatever, okay? And here's what happens when the party's split up is you don't have anything to do, all right? Suddenly, this world, this magical setting that someone has spent time and effort putting on, well, maybe not even paper, just up in their noggin, it becomes alienating because you're not a part of it. You are not a part of the experience, okay? So this guy has way too much time on his hand. Way too much time on his hand, okay? He's playing sound effects, and you know what? Sure. Go ahead, experiment. Go ahead and experiment. He's not the DM. He's just a guy with a boombox. He's playing. He'll go from a music and you know, something happened to the ship they're on. It turned into a submarine, and I didn't really know what was going on. But then he played that submarine radar pinging tone. I'm like, oh, submarine. Okay, that's what it is. So he's got some clever shit. But he should probably focus on playing the game more than being a second DM. My character who's Slipjab, he's a rat. He's trying to figure something out. He eats the root of this tree, and he gets poisoned. So the DM tells me you take 10 damage from poison. And then he gets out this, the guy next to me gets out this book saying, oh, well, poison damage is the 5 damage over the course of 9 turns. And it's just like, yeah, that's true. But why would you seek to nerf me? Why? We're on the same team. So he's not playing his character, but the player in real life is not this. I would say giving him the most, I don't know. Giving him the most benefit of the doubt. He's somewhere lawful, all right? You can go, I could really argue for any of these except for this one, I think. In fact, I could probably put him anywhere on here, to be honest, because, you know, he was trying to rules fuck me. Maybe chaotic evil. He was just trying to bring down me, to bring down the party. And so I told him, I'm like, how many DMs are there? And the reason he's doing this, he has so much time on his hand. He wants to be able to play the game. He wants to be able to do something. But the party gets split up. Do not split up your parties, okay? You know what happened as soon as we got the party together? They got split up again because a magic tree did something dumb. Don't split them up. Do not keep everyone together as much as possible, all right? If you're going to an area and you want to split people throughout that area, that's fine. Okay, look, an area can be a cavern. An area can be a house. An area can be a town. And if the DM's really good about it, it can have districts of the town, okay? That's one area. Wherever the immediate edge of the smallest portion of the map can be, keep everyone there. Keep everyone there. Just don't spread them out. It gets so boring. Okay. So yeah, I'm rambling now. In review, most players are chaotic good. It just gives you a lot of options. You don't really have to think about it too much. It just, for me, it flows naturally. Lawful evil. Evil, you know, it's kind of hard to be evil, but the lawfulness helps you rein yourself in. Chaotic evil, you're going to have some issues here. You're definitely going to have some issues here just because the amount of destruction you do compared to what the world can withstand and what the party can withstand, it's going to be a balancing act. So it's not a balancing act between your character's actual actions. It's a balancing act between the player and the character, all right? Using a meta understanding to try to rein this in just a little bit. Lawful good. Fuck these guys. Fuck these guys. They're not fun to play with. Sorry. They're fun to play with. I just personally, my players, my whatever, my characters, I have disdain for them, but at least they're playing a role. At least they're playing a role. Then you get the neutral edgelords, and neutral good, doable, very doable. I think it would be a huge challenge for me to play a neutral good character just because I don't know, I almost see it as cliche. Lawful neutral, kind of like the time cops, you know, they're going throughout time, making sure that everything stays definitely playable. There's some possibility here. I changed my mind about this. Neutral evil, you're just a Disney villain. You're just any Disney villain, and it's overdone, and it makes you short-sighted in the long run. And you know what? I'm actually just going to say these two are pretty much the same thing. This is neutralness for neutralness' sake right here, and only edgelords will play these things. You're really kind of stuck with some options here that aren't great, which is flipping a coin to see what you do. So you're not even playing a character, you're just like this this pendulum. And likewise, you could be a pendulum and just try to balance every good act with the bad act, and it's not, this is not a good place to be because there's just so few people like this. Okay, I mean, look, I'm a centrist. I don't really fall too far on the left or the right, but that doesn't mean I'm neutral. It doesn't even mean I'm neutral about an issue. If you're neutral about things, if you don't have a feeling about it, then I'd really encourage you to think and feel about it. Honestly, you're gonna find something meaningful. Your character needs to have a motivation, and it's kind of hard right here to follow a motivation. Okay, and you know, the most influential neutral character I've ever run into was actually evil. Neutral characters are really hard to play, and if you have a better idea on how to do it than what I explained, let me know.